Hey, what's up, guys? Yesterday I did a story about Hildega Steenkamp, who had stolen 537 million rands from her employer. There she is. Now, listen to what she says today. This, I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. Only in Umzansi are things like this taking place. Hildega Steenkamp, the accountant who stole over R500 million from medical equipment supply company Medtronic, has told the court that her late husband, Matthijs, was abusive and forced her to steal from her employer. Steenkamp was testifying in mitigation of a sentence at Johannesburg Specialized Crimes Court sitting in Palm Ridge on Monday. In April this year, Steenkamp pleaded guilty to 336 charges related to theft of 537 million from Medtronic Pty Ltd, where she was employed as a junior accountant. Okay, now we already know that her lawyer, advocate Francois Roux, had, Roots, had already told the court that Steenkamp would take the stand to testify and that they would not be bringing any expert reports or witnesses to testify. Steenkamp reluctantly walked to the witness stand and told the court that she was not feeling well and didn't think she would cope with testifying. She told the court, "I'm on antibiotics and in real pain. I don't think I can do this." Magistrate Philip Fente, however, asked her to try to give the testimony. Right? Now, this is really unbelievable. Asked by Roux why she stole from her employer, Steenkamp said her late husband made her do it. He needed about 100,000 cash to pay certain vendors and he had just lost a contract with the state. He asked me to try and see if we could successfully take the money and I did it, she said. Steenkamp, who painted her late husband as an abusive man, told the court that when she wanted to stop stealing from her company, Matthijs forced her to continue. Unbelievable. Just after I had decided to stop after the fourth time, my late husband didn't want to listen or hear that. That evening, when I told him I wanted to stop, he assaulted me. I took an overdose of pills that evening and ended up in an intensive care unit. When I left the hospital, it continued and he threatened to harm my children in February 2005. And an emotional Steenkamp told the court, "I was afraid of him. He wanted more. He would assault me whenever I did not want to do it." Okay, guys, this is the first one, right? I'm not quite sure if I believe her. I have absolutely no reason to believe her because we've got police and women are easily believable when they tell these stories that they've been abused, even in instances when they have not been abused. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that she was abused or not abused, no, but I'm simply pointing out that in South Africa and the world over today, I remember Harris, the Deputy President of America, just last year insisting that we've got to believe women, right? You know how Bill Cosby went to jail for something that is 60 years, that happened 60 years ago. So what I'm trying to say, there is a tendency out there in the world within which we live where women are more believed readily than men. And I'm going further to say that even when they are not telling the truth, this is not denying GBV. Make no mistake about it. GBV is real. I'm not denying that. I'm simply stating the positive aspects that women are believed, right? And therefore, there was no reason for her in this environment that has been created and conducive to women to report abuse of this nature. She didn't go forward and abuse. As a matter of fact, my spouse sent me a message saying, "I want to be abused like that, to be sent away, to go away and spend overnight 5 million gambling. You travel all over the world and you live such a luxurious life and then you come back to tell us that is abuse." That is unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. Asked by Roots why she never sought help from authorities, Steenkamp said her late husband had connections because he was also a police officer. Therefore, seeking help would have been fruitless exercise. You see now, I don't believe her. However, in the same breath, she admitted having loved the man as he was the father of her children. She also told the court that most of the money she stole went into her husband's account and he would only give her small amounts to spend on their household. That's amazing. 5 million is a small amount. Remember, she has been said to spend about 5 million gambling at one night, just for one night. He would give between 50,000 and 100,000, but it would also depend on what I needed for the household. And that's a small amount. Amazing. Steenkamp also admitted to being avid gambler during her marriage with Matthijs. She said she visited gambling houses in the East Rand at least 3 times a week to escape Matthijs. Earlier, the court, from the state witness Graham Davis, earlier on, the court heard from the state witness Graham Davis that a forensic investigation found that Steenkamp once blew 5 million in one night gambling. That's precisely what I was referring to a few minutes ago. I gambled a lot. I didn't want to be home. Now, which abusive husband would tolerate an absent wife? Please tell me. I gambled a lot. I didn't want to be home. I usually went to Carnival City and Emperor's Palace. I was very happy with gambling and kept the money I won on casino cards, she said. Ruth asked Steenkamp why she chose to gamble rather than go out with friends, perhaps drink wine. She said she didn't have any friends then and didn't drink alcohol, so gambling was the only thing she could do. Wow, that means she was sober as a judge when she made the decision to steal. If she doesn't drink alcohol, she has absolutely no excuse. I paid up my house, bought properties, and paid off my debts with it. Girl, we're talking about 537 million here. We're not talking about 500,000. Okay? We're not talking about 2 million here. She told the court. Her family was in court to support her, including a new husband, Dion Petersen. Amazing. I think we need an investigation on Dion's a lifestyle audit on Dion Peterson's life, because I don't believe a human being can blow 537 million. Look, I could be wrong. I don't deny that. Sentencing proceedings will continue on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to Wednesday because, really, guys, do you believe that this individual was abused? I don't. I'm not going to lie to you. This is by no means deny GBV. GBV is a reality in our country. We have seen it so many times. However, we cannot allow people. It's just like, for example, when you talk about women's rights, and then suddenly you have these individuals who are transitioning from being men, they want to compete with women. I did a video recently on that, right? There's no way we can sustain women's sports if we allow such folly to overtake women's sports. Okay? Why? Because physically there's no comparison between the two, but I digress. The point is this: we shouldn't allow an individual to who has never been to any psychologist or any professional to indicate, because there ought to be some sort of an audit trail that indicates a history of abuse. Just imagine tomorrow, everybody that knows me and knows my spouse, and now she says tomorrow that no, she killed me because I was abusive. That's absolutely nonsensical. Can you see that? There ought to be some sort of evidence. People who knows us ought to be able to say, no, indeed, the man was abusive, and this had taken place at so place and so place. There's no way you can just say, no, I was abused. How were you abused? I was sent on a cruise ship. I went to this country overseas. I lived like a multi-millionaire. Wow, who doesn't want to be abused like that? If that is abused. If that is abuse, that's a new definition of abuse. It's like something I want to make a video about, which I think should be my next video, the new definition of racism that is being defined in this my country by some individuals whom I believe are populists and seeking to divide us. Okay, guys, that's it. What do you think about that? Do you think this individual was abused this way to steal this money? What are the chances of that? By the way, you know that their husband was said to have died of natural causes. It comes out that he literally choked at Sun City. choking is not natural, right? Choking to death, that's not natural. So she's just opened up an investigation by this allegation. And for me, that's the only other plausible, answer to her claim that she was being abused. That may explain the circumstances under which her husband died, if indeed it is true. Okay? But you don't want to beat a man when he's already down. Okay? Let me check out. That's it for this one.